Last Monday was World Children's Day, and it pretty well slid under the international radar. Few paid attention to it. UNICEF issued a report which didn't get much coverage, but made some dramatic statements. As a matter of fact, the most dramatic was the fact that 180 million children, now that's a very large number, I don't know how to categorize it, it's more than half the population of the United States, way more than the population of Russia, 3 times the population of the United Kingdom, 5 times the population of my own country, Canada. UNICEF pointed out that 180 million children in 37 countries are worse off today than they were 20 years ago on a number of measures. On the basis of poverty, on the basis of school enrollment, on the basis of susceptibility to violent death. As a matter of fact, the share of children living in households whose income is less than $1.90 a day, which is the World Bank measure of poverty, the share of children has risen in some 14 countries over what it was 20 years ago. The share of children enrolled in primary school has dropped as a percentage in 21 countries compared to what it was 20 years ago. And the share of children who have suffered violent death in conflict has gone up in 7 countries over what it was 20 years ago. Countries like Central African Republic and South Sudan and Yemen and Iraq. We always believe as parents that somehow we will leave to our next generation of kids circumstances which are better off. But it's turning out not to be true in many countries. UNICEF went on to do something quite interesting. They conducted a survey in some 14 countries of 11,000 children between the ages of 9 and 18, asking them what they feared most. And they feared most terrorism, the quality of education, poverty, and being disenfranchised. They felt that no one consulted them. They had no place in the sun in any country. That was fascinating because these weren't nondescript countries in which the survey was conducted. It was the United Kingdom, South Africa, Brazil, Mexico, Nigeria, Egypt. I mean, these are serious countries, and the situation was appalling. But right at the bottom of every measure is Yemen. Yemen, where the scorched earth policy of Saudi Arabia has turned Yemen into a charnel house for children, a slaughterhouse for children. And Saudi Arabia is a charter member of the Human Rights Council of the United Nations in Geneva, elevating the word hypocrisy to a kind of poster word for political malevolence. The NGO Save the Children says that another 50,000 kids may die by the end of this year from famine and disease unless the blockade that has been imposed on Yemen by Saudi Arabia is lifted. That's 130 children a day, 1 child every 10 minutes. UNICEF says that 125,000 children may die in the next several months in Yemen unless the blockade is lifted, die of famine and disease. And 50% of the children in Yemen are stunted. And the Security Council of the United Nations, for whatever reason, is paralyzed and nothing happens to solve the crisis. But it's nearly 2018. We don't live in the dark ages. Or maybe we do. That was last week. I'm Stephen Lewis.